Welcome to episode 34 of Dissent Into The Wormhole, where we discuss everything from ancient civilization to modern day social issues and everything in between. I'm Les.
And I'm Stevie J, and today we're going to talk about who's in control of our bodies. Is it us? Well, some would say, a lot would say no, we're not in control of our own bodies. Well, actually, some people would say we're in control of our own bodies, but when we break it down a little bit, and we were talking about this, like when you think about it a little bit more, are we really? Are we really? And it kind of came up because we were talking about, and let's just say that it came up because we were talking about a friend, but it was to do. It was to do with prostitution and stuff like that, and it was like, hang on a minute, when did it become illegal for one to sell one's own body for cash?
Right.
If it's all, of course, consensual and stuff. So, anyways, that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, because it's true. Like, if I want to receive money for sex,
Yes.
I should be able to do that.
Yes.
I'm in agreement. They're in agreement. Everyone's in agreement. Like, as long as you're not hurting anybody and no one's like, it shouldn't be a problem. No one should be able to come in and stop you and say,
just because.
Well, as we went down the rabbit hole of that, we're like, well, why not? Like, who is so concerned of the transaction between me and someone else or someone else and someone else?
Right.
Well, it's the government. And what's the government's main job in all of this?
I feel like, now, some would say it's to do with protecting us and caring for us.
Do you hit your head?
Many times. Because now that I'm back in reality, the government only gives a shit about money. And that's all they care about. So can they get their piece of the pie? And that's what we came to with this. So because the other thing too is, it's not in all countries and everything like that, but definitely here, there's legalized brothels.
Right.
So when the government can, I guess, sanction an activity and say, well, along with that, we'll take a bit of tax, we'll take a little bit of cash as well. Apparently it's all fine then, but you can't just go and do whatever you want and leave the government out of it.
Right.
They need to get some money as well.
Yeah.
But it does pose that interesting question as to, why do they want to get involved in this stuff? If you take money out of it, is there any other reason? I mean,
no,
I can't see one. I really cannot see one, because at an individual level, let's just be honest, they don't care about you. And they definitely don't care about me.
No, they told me so.
Yeah, several times. I mean, they've met me. They know.
They know.
So they don't really care about any of us, I would say. But is it just the money? Like,
I think it is, because if you think about it, like, there's no other reason to stop someone from doing. So if I'm going to stop you from doing something, it's because it's affecting me in a negative way. And how are your actions affecting me? Yeah, they shouldn't be. Right. But if you're not, like, if I'm an authority, I'm like, okay, you can't breathe unless you pay me. Right. Well, you're breathing and you're not paying me. Exactly.
Oh,
don't give me any ideas. Soon we're going to be charged for air.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I don't think you're too far off that. But I mean, the whole my body, my choice thing, I think, now I agree with people being able to choose what they do with their bodies. I'm a big advocate for that. Our own personal choices. But along with that, like, I don't just say, like it's living in fairyland or whatever, in fantasy land. Like, you've got to also be accountable for your choices and be responsible for those choices too. So, like, yes, it's everybody's choice and everything like that, and I do agree with that. But, I mean, it seems as though the government's also hypocritical, contradictory in a lot of those ways as well, because it seems though they'll say my body, my choice, or agree with that in terms of abortion for the most part. But then when it comes to, say, I don't know, the sex work or the sex industry, or, I don't know, like medical stuff, what's that thing that's been kicking around the last couple of years?
Oh, the vaccine.
Oh, the vaccine, yes. So all of a sudden, and different to the sex stuff, there's nothing in it for the government.
No.
Like the vaccines, there's nothing in it for the governments. Like, or even though half these politicians probably do go find themselves a corner and go, can I stick something in somebody, please?
Yeah. and it's not this is not this vaccine in my pocket.
No, it's not the vaccine. That's right. Surprise. But I find it really interesting that in that case they go, look, it's not your body, it's not your choice. Here's a vaccine, you have to take it.
Yeah, and you have to.
And you have to, exactly. You can't just go on living your life without it. It's not actually a choice. And to all those people who might say and have said to us as well, oh, well, it's voluntary, it's a choice. You can choose. Well, let me ask this then. What choice is it to say you can have this vaccine or you can not go and live your life in any way, shape or form?
Right.
You will not be allowed to go out anywhere, no shopping, no movies, no
job.
Dinner, no job, which is the big one. No school or university.
Right.
No, so basically, of
travel.
course, it's 100% voluntary. The only thing is, if you choose this way, we're going to take away all of those things from you.
Yeah.
So what choice is left?
Well,
really?
It's certainly not choose your own adventure. They have chosen our adventure for us because, as you said, when you went to go get it and you were forced,
yes,
there was bad things were going to happen if you didn't get it.
Yes.
So you went and they're like, so here's your form you signed, and you didn't sign anything because you said it was laminated.
It's laminated. You can't sign it. Yeah.
So they sent it and they're like, here it is. And at the bottom, what did it say?
It said, I confirm that this vaccination is voluntary. And I'm like, well, there's no way I can cross it out. It's laminated. And B, of course it's not voluntary, because if I said I didn't want to get it, essentially I wouldn't have had anywhere to work. Let's just say that. No job to go back to. And it was very, very clear. As in, I asked that question, what will happen if I say no? And it was, oh, bye.
Yeah.
You'll be gone. Whoa, okay. And so I want to say as well at this point, we're not anti-vaccine, anti this vaccine, because the vaccines that I've had, I'm sure you've had, and kids have had and all that kind of stuff, have actually been tested over the generally accepted and required amount of time. So, and I believe that's 7 years.
7 to 10, I think.
7 to 10 years of testing. And how many months have we had testing for the vaccine before it came out?
None.
Right, because for them to develop it, it was almost, okay, we've somehow magically created it, and here it is. Yeah. It's ready to go. So no testing and no long-term testing.
No. And it's funny because my doctor, because I definitely asked her, because I'm like, well, I'm not listening to my government. You got to be kidding me. Have you seen them? Have you met them?
I've seen the hair.
Oh, it's great hair. That's all he's got going for him. That's what got him into office in the first place, was his hair. But I asked her, I said, listen, what's going to happen 10 years out? What am I anticipating? How safe is this thing? And she said, first of all, she said, it's the most tested vaccine we have ever had. That didn't make me feel good because I didn't understand. I said, why? She's like, because it's in everybody. I'm like, well, just because it's in everybody doesn't mean that it's been tested. So, and then she started going on of how all her and her friends are vaccinated and all her and her friends this. So they've turned this into, because I remember at the very beginning, they said whoever wants a vaccine can get one.
Right.
And then in certain corners of my country, they started saying, the politician actually said, I will make people's lives miserable if they don't get it.
Yeah.
I will make them regret every single second of their life if they don't get it. So how is that my choice?
Well, it's not your choice.
It's not my choice anymore.
No, it's not. And we equated it to basically, someone holding something to your head and saying, do this or else. It's your choice.
Yeah.
But what kind of a choice is it?
It's no choice.
So, and that's insane. And that kind of language, and even, talking about your country again and, Mr. Hare, and him calling everyone, the truckers and everything, the truck convoy, having unacceptable opinions. Now, to me, it seems like a very simple and innocuous kind of phrase, but to me, it sends shudders down my spine. Unacceptable opinion. My first thing is, according to who? Who decides what's unacceptable and what's acceptable? Yeah. Because we should all have our own control over our thoughts and feelings and whatever else and decide for ourselves.
Yeah. So now our bodies aren't our own, and our thoughts even aren't our own.
Right. And we can get penalized too.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We can get in a lot of shit for not having the same thoughts, the same views, the same things in our bodies, how we maneuver within the world.
Right.
It all just, it's not ours anymore.
Right.
It runs from the top down. And if you do anything out of the sorts, well,
yeah,
you're out.
Exactly.
You're completely out.
You are. You're out of society. They won't let you do things.
They won't let you in society.
That's right. You can't participate.
Yeah.
And so with the whole, control of our bodies and everything like that, I mean, there might be some people out there, and like we started off talking about the sex work stuff.
Yeah,
right?
That's where it started. Yeah.
Right. So with the sex work stuff, I mean, somebody, to play devil's advocate, could say, well, it's for health reasons. So it's to protect the client, and it's to protect the sex worker. But I want to say this, what we said again, which was personal responsibility.
Exactly.
If you want to go, or as I, humble me, want to visit a corner, and you're there, well, I can take my chances.
You would be taking your chances.
I can take my chances.
But that's the thing. You can take your chance. But the thing is,
I live with that choice, right?
Right. But if that's their logic, then I can also go to the bar.
Yes.
Go pick someone up, bring them home, and end up every STI under the sun.
Yes.
I'd probably be better off going to the corner.
Yes, exactly. And is that what it is? Is it based on the location that you get this person from, or the transaction amount, or the cash? Because, okay, let's think about some dating for a second. Yeah. All right? Not that I've been in the pool ever, really, but with dating, okay. So let's say, very generalized here, but just as an example.
Yeah.
So old matey potato says, how you doing, love? How'd you like to go out for a date? Should we grab some dinner? Perfect. Yes, let's do that.
Yes.
Goes out to dinner. He spends $200.
Good. I was going to say that amount too. Perfect.
All right. I'm just hanging on right there. Yeah. $200 on dinner.
Yeah.
Wine and all the rest of it. And woman's happy.
Yeah.
Really happy. Goes home. They have sex.
Yep.
Great. Isn't that a transaction of some sort?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
So what's the difference between that transaction and one that takes place on the street without all the chit-chat, but they just have sex?
Well, let me tell you.
Oh, okay.
I've got an answer. They went to a restaurant where they paid for their food, where they paid taxes for their food, where the restaurant pays the taxes for their employees and to be able to function in this world.
Okay.
Government's involved.
I like it. Well, that makes sense, and they're making money, aren't they?
Yeah. That's the only difference.
But and you're right, because if it was purely a health thing and an STI thing, why aren't they busting down people's door being like, get it out of there, stop it. Stop it right
You're going to regret every second of it.
No, don't put that in a, it seems so silly, but it's actually true. What's the difference if it's about health, if that's what it's about, and caring about us, which they don't.
No,
but if it was about that, why not bust down doors and stop people from getting it on?
Yeah. Well, they're busting down your doors here, aren't they, to tell you to get the vaccine?
Exactly.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, government.
They are. I have never once had anyone in a place of employment say to me, unless you have sex with this person, you will lose your job.
Well, a lot of people have, and it's usually the boss.
Wow, that's true. That is true. But and I think we said, didn't we? But all of this discussion about the sex worker, and it's all consensual, right? That's the hypothesis. Right. Hypothesis that we're using is that all parties are consensual.
Yeah.
No one's in danger. It's nothing.
Yeah. There's no manipulation.
There's no manipulation, no violence, nothing like that. Everybody's agreeing to everything. But because of course you get into criminality after that, and that's a different story. Yeah. But where everybody's consensual, why the hell does the government get involved? Does one need to? Well, okay, we're going down the vaccine path and linking that to the whole sex thing.
Yeah.
Is there going to be an app that comes out soon, a sex check-in code where everyone's like, well, you headed to the bedroom, better check in, let the government know.
Do not give them any ideas.
Oh, no, I can't believe it.
What have you done?
Oh.
What have you done? But apparently on Tinder and Bumble and stuff, I don't know, do you have like Bumble and Tinder? You have
I haven't signed up, but...
Well, we should probably set you up later. It'll be fine. You're safe.
She says.
But for Tinder and Bumble, oh yeah, you do have it here because there is a portion that says like there's a new thing that says, are you vaxxed or not? Because there's certain people that will only date and only talk to and only associate with vaxxed people.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that if people knew what people did behind closed doors 95% of the time, they would be probably more shocked and appalled at that thing than not being vaccinated.
Right. Well, you just got me thinking. That's right, and that was one of the other incentives they used for people to get this vaccine was
you can date,
discount dating. You can date. Like, oh my goodness! But when you said that too, my first thought was, that's the information you want to know when you're getting into like one of these blind hookups with somebody is, have you had the vaccination? Like, you don't want to know about any other kind of diseases.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, you know.
When was your last STI test, and can I see the results?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for some reason, vaccinations for this silly thing that's been going around is more important to people. But I don't understand. I mean, okay, we've established it's money, isn't it, for the government?
Yeah, it's money. Yeah.
So in that instance, they've essentially put themselves into all of our lives and our bodies with the vaccination.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? What's the next step?
Well, that's just it, because you can go off grid. Right? Because I was always taught that my body was mine.
Mm-hmm.
I have the right to say yes or no around anything. And then when you get a little older, you're like, well, fuck me, they lied. They lied. Because I feel like I don't have a lot to say in a lot of things.
Yeah.
So we were talking about this as well. Like what's the ownership? Like, what is our piece of paper ownership that says I own this? Because I have a piece of paper that says I own my car. Piece of paper says you own your house. Piece of paper that says blah, 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 blah. This is mine. I own it.
Yeah.
No one else can have it. So where's the ownership for this thing? So we went down the rabbit hole and we thought, well, maybe it's your birth certificate.
Right.
But that's just your employee ID number. So you can make money, so they can make money off.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's just it. So you can't participate in society without, say, birth certificate, IDs,
social insurance.
Like,
what do you call it here?
Medicare. We've got Medicare and Social Security. We've got right. So you can't exist and participate in society without all of those things.
Right.
But you also can't get them unless you're a citizen. So doing that, because I'm, like you said, employee, we're all seen as a commodity in this big cycle of life. And big corporations have been government for me, and I think, us are the same thing. There's no difference between corporations and governments. Right. But the governments see us as their employees and their commodities. So we're a money-making thing for the governments. So it's one of those things where we really don't own ourselves. We're in some loose kind of sense given that impression that, you can be whoever you want to be, and you're your own person. But the minute that you start...
You're a unique snowflake.
Oh, I am.
You are.
I am, actually. Very, very, I melt very easily. But, like, the thing is, we go through this cycle of life, and they just want us to be doing what they want us to do. So we go to school, and we get indoctrinated, and we go to high school, and more indoctrination, then university, and blah, blah. Get a job, make them money, because they make money off us. Like, we're not the ones who win out of all of that. And then, we get old, we retire, and we go, geez, I'm so glad I spent the last 60-something years of my life working. What have I got to show for it? Well, I've got a little bit of money, but what can I do with it?
And not only that, you can't take that with you. Like, when you're sitting in your rocking chair, I like to do the rocking chair experiment with a lot of people. So you're sitting there, you're 80 years old, and you're sitting there, hopefully you're still sitting there with your spouse, you're both still alive, and you're thinking back on your life and you're reminiscing. What are you like beaming about? When you look back on your life, what are you beaming about? Are you beaming about going to work at 5:00 in the morning and not coming home till 10 o'clock at night? Is that what you're excited about? Or was it the experiences, the love, the friendships that you made, the things, because those things you can take those with you.
Yeah.
Emotions come with us through different lifetimes. Those are the things. Our money, well, that just gets dispersed after we're gone, and people will be fighting over it long after we're gone. They're going to be fighting over our money. Meanwhile, we've just gone and take away the memories. So we want to make sure that they're good memories. We never want to go in with regrets. But guess what? 99% of people on their deathbed said, I wish I did more for me.
Yes.
That is the biggest regret. I wish I did more. I wish I didn't work so hard. I wish I didn't do so much for other people that didn't appreciate it. I wish I cared about me, and I just wish I did everything different.
Yeah. It's so true. And it's such a sad thing, really, isn't it? That to hear people say that. Like, I wish I'd done more. I always wanted to do this, or I always wanted to do that, and I never got to do this and all that. And like, if you say, well, what did you do? Then, well, I worked. Yeah. Like, I spent all this time producing something or doing something for the government, or you know. And if it's a corporation, it's the same thing. Yeah. It's absolutely the same thing. Just get the worker bees to keep going. And no one ever asks us along the way, like, are you happy? Like, are you actually just happy? Yeah. Because we have that whole thing of, well, we have to do more, be more, get more, produce more. And so in that sense, we are owned by the governments, by the corporations. And if we step out of that, or want to step out of that, well, we can, but we have to be very prepared for it. And we have to make sure that we can be, completely sustainable in our own little environments. Because if we're not, then they'll just keep taking things away and not letting us participate in all of those things that are going on.
Well, speaking about not participating, up in the northern lands where I come from, where I originate from, they were talking about not providing health care for people. Now, in Canada, we have health care for everybody gets health care. It's one of those things of being a perk of being Canadian. Yeah. And they were talking about getting rid of that for people who weren't vaccinated. It's so you're slowly but surely, it's like, well, if you're going to do that, I might as well go just completely remove myself from society and go live on a beach somewhere where you can't fuck with me because you're pushing me in that direction.
But again, you're so right. And again, it also goes back to the whole, do they really care about us? Of course they don't.
No.
And the line to draw there is, or the line to consider with that, and the slippery slope is, okay, so the reasoning for that, I assume, is because they're calling people irresponsible for not getting the vaccine.
Yes, but am I irresponsible if you're a smoker, or if you're a drinker, or if you're a drug taker, or you don't eat as well? Extreme sports. Right. Or I don't eat as healthy as I should. Those things also are potentially things that could send me to the hospital.
Yep. So, I mean,
multiple times over throughout my lifetime.
So in theory, I could still get free healthcare if I jumped out of a plane without a parachute,
right,
and somehow survived.
Yeah,
I would get free healthcare.
Yeah,
because that's fine.
Yes,
not stupid.
No, not at all.
But if I don't get the vaccine,
you're an idiot.
That's so stupid and irresponsible.
Yeah, how dare you?
Oh, that's insane, isn't it?
You're the scourge of society.
And not just like I'm killing everybody else, right? Like that's the narrative.
That's the narrative. You're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for everybody else.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't understand that either. I mean, if I'm not vaccinated and you are, and you're wearing a mask and you got a full hazmat suit and whatever.
Yeah. What are you? What is it?
What do you care about?
I shouldn't.
Right.
I shouldn't.
Yes, but everybody.
But yet I do.
That. Yeah.
I do. I think what the problem is that we have gotten so far away from personal responsibility.
Yes.
That we tend to not look at, like, the fuck is Les doing right now?
Yeah.
What am I doing? What am I thinking? What am I, like, putting out into the world as a me? But we're more concerned about everybody out there, so we don't have to look at me. Like, it's easier to trust me, it's much easier for me to say, you know what, you, sir, are X, Y, and Z.
It is.
It's so much easier.
Far easier.
Because then I don't have to look at me.
Yeah.
But if we all just took that inner look and said, okay, what that person over there wants to do, that's cool, because it doesn't affect me whatsoever. It does not change the cost of milk for me.
Well, it doesn't. And you're right, though. People want to look elsewhere.
Yeah, but it's the government, though, because the government was the one who said, anyone who doesn't, go get them. Pitchforks, get them.
That's right. Well, they sent pitchforks.
That's how it felt.
And torches, hopefully. So we all felt like Shrek in the swamp. Like we're all ogres getting chased around by the townsfolk. Yeah. And really for what? Like at the end of the day, I mean, we've laughed about this. And there's nothing to laugh about when it comes to people actually being sick.
No.
But when you talk about this particular thing, people really aren't sick.
Right.
And people aren't really, passing away like they say. So,
well, I've been looking at your news.
Yeah.
And I've been keeping an eye on the numbers because upstairs we get how many numbers are in the hospital and how many deaths we had.
Mm-hmm.
You have a full count of how many people you have. Plus, guess how many deaths in the last month?
Yeah.
0.
Right.
0. So what am I worried about?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's just it. And that's where the pitchfork and torch people come in.
Yes.
Because they essentially believe what's being said in the media, which is just repeated over and over and over and over again. And it's all the negative stuff.
Yeah.
But something that I found so curious with this particular method of control with the vaccine is why this one? There's been so many vaccines in history and it's always been your choice. Like take the flu vaccine and my work, right? So using that example before of when they were like, well, if you don't get this one, you're fired.
Yeah.
So with the flu vaccine, they would always offer it as a free service every year.
Right.
Hey, anybody who wants the flu vaccine, put your name down and you can get it.
Yep.
If you don't want it, no one even cares.
Yep.
No one cares.
So why is that? And my doctor always told me, because I actually had a doctor switch.
Mm-hmm.
My doctor closed up shop, towards the beginning of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. But he always said, and he's been my doctor since 5, don't get the flu shot. Mm-hmm. You don't need it. You're strong. You're healthy. Leave it for the people who need it. He's like, you never want to put anything in your body that your body can't fight off naturally. If you can fight it off naturally, you never want to intervene.
Right.
So why is that logic not moving forward? And the thing is, there are people kicking around without the polio vaccine, without the measles, without the mumps. Yeah, and I understand that. I fully understand that the more and more people don't get those things, the more likely we are to re-inhabit those viruses back in.
I get it.
But we also have solid proof that those viruses are deadly.
Yes. Well, yes.
They're a problem. They're problem viruses.
Right. And that the vaccines work.
Yes, the vaccines work.
As well. So it's a different story.
But also, and I've thought this many, many a time, what if those viruses that we are inoculated from, obviously Mother Nature, if they're natural, if they're natural viruses coming through, like a cold or the actual influenza, then Mother Nature is pushing them through the system for a reason.
Yeah.
It is to clean things out, is to whatever the reason she is doing it. The only thing that is perfect within our matrix is Mother Earth. It's the only thing that functions as a one heartbeat almost.
Yeah.
So if she's doing this naturally, why are we stopping it? If it's supposed to be happening. It's like stopping a lion from eating a gazelle.
Right. Absolutely. It just doesn't feel right.
Exactly, because the lion needs to eat.
Yeah. Well, I do have an answer, and I think you answered the question yourself because you said the word natural several times in that.
I know I did.
Yes.
I was hoping you were paying attention.
I was. Do I get a gold star?
Yeah, you do.
Yay!
First one of the day.
So the key thing with that is anything natural can't be patented. And if you can't patent it, you can't make buku amounts of cash off it.
Yeah.
And so there you go. That's why the governments don't like natural immunity to things and the corporations, because you can't make money off natural immunity.
No.
Because people are just looking after themselves, which is we're all capable of, but people aren't aware of a lot these days. But
because you were told we're not.
Because we're told, like you need drugs. You need those pharmaceuticals right away. But there's no money to be made.
Right.
And so the natural immunity and any kind of natural remedy as well.
Essential oils.
All out the window, no matter how effective it actually is. And there's a lot of research out there that shows and proves that all of those what are called alternative treatments, which are really, I mean, technically it is an alternative treatment to the mainstream, but the mainstream's BS. So just other treatments and more natural therapies really do work, but they get absolutely suppressed because they can't be patented and the governments can't make money off it.
That's right.
And just to support that, we won't go down this entire rabbit hole, but just to support that, the American Medical Association was started by Rockefeller, wasn't it? Pretty sure it was Rockefeller.
It was one of them. It was one of those
one of the big five.
Boku money guys.
Yes. And so the American Medical Association was started by one of the big elite rich people of the world, right? Way back in the day. And at that point, they disregarded all natural therapies and said that it was essentially illegal to use those therapies. And you were only allowed to, as a doctor, use drugs and pharmaceuticals to treat things. And that's what we see today. And the reason for that being this particular rich person owned a lot of oil companies. And pharmaceuticals are made by base petroleum products, oil products. So there you go. That's why, a whole lot of those natural therapies have disappeared. They can patent all of the pharmaceutical stuff, make as much money as they want. And I guess, one more thing to just throw in there when we're talking about pharmaceuticals is, these pharmaceutical companies who say they care about our health. I mean, come on. Bitch, please.
That was worthy of a bitch, please.
It was. Yeah. It was. Because they've also copped the biggest criminal fines in history.
Pfizer, right?
History. Pfizer. Yeah. For, what were they doing? I guess, not having people's health at heart and not people's best interest not at heart. So, making people sick. But I guess, and we did talk about that the other day too. Like, why do they do that? Why do they actually, in some cases, make people sick? Well, if your whole business model is built and framed on helping sick people or selling things to sick people, not
because you're not helping.
No, that's right. Yeah, selling things to sick people. Why would you ever want anyone to get better? Really?
Yeah, no, because it's not in your business model.
Right. Because if everybody gets better and you have the best cures in the world and everybody gets better, then what happens to your profit?
There is none.
Right.
There is none.
There's nobody to sell stuff to.
Yeah. And that's why it's almost like it's ingrained in us, because I've been laughed at for my essential oils. I've been laughed at for sound healing and Reiki healing and stuff. Like people just laugh at it is because they're always told that it's woo-woo, that it's magic, that it's fluff.
Yeah.
And it's not going to help. But I've witnessed it help. And I'm sorry, but the people who made the pyramids clearly knew more than any of us.
Absolutely.
And they had sound healing things. So if you weren't feeling right, like even if it was a cold, or they even there's rumors that they cured cancer within these things, whatever was ailing you, you go into this quartz thing that like it's like structure with like certain holes in it. It was like a sound bath therapy. You go in for 15 minutes, you come out cured. Meditation. Joe Dispenza has had numerous people go into full remission from stage 4 cancer by meditation alone within a second.
Yeah.
In an instant, it's cured.
And we must note with Joe Dispenza too, he's a doctor. He's not just he's not one of those gurus which people, I think, their minds go to because the media pushes their minds that way. But he's not like one of those dudes that stands up on a stage and slaps people in the head and says you're cured.
No.
He has a very particular method, and he's a well-respected doctor.
Absolutely.
And he talks a lot about the merging of scientific theories and physics and things like that. Quantum physics with the spiritual. Yeah. And so, it's absolutely achievable, but it gets put into this pot of that's just pipe dreams, that's just made up and it's not real and all that kind of stuff, when there's people out there witnessing it every day. But again, those pharmaceutical companies, they don't want people to know about that. Governments don't want people to know about that, because when Pfizer and all the big pharma companies make money, they pay taxes to the government. They also are on all the boards of all the different companies, big companies too, like media.
Yeah.
So when you're told in the media, now watch CNN. I have to say that. Watch CNN and watch who they're sponsored by.
Yep.
This segment is brought to you by Pfizer. So, what do you think? What kind of narrative do you think they're going to talk about?
Well, whatever props up Pfizer. But you said something really interesting. You said that on the boards. So the same board, the same members of the board of the media are the same board members of the medical board, or the not the medical board, the pharmaceutical companies. They're the same people. So they go to one boardroom.
Yep.
That's like us going over that side of the table and saying, okay, what do we need to sell? This is what we need to sell. And then coming over here and saying, all right, here's your problem. Everyone's got a problem, all you people out there. And guess what? Those people over there have the solution. Not telling you we are those people over there with the fucking solution.
Yeah, we're both the same people. Like, it's so corrupt. It's so corrupt and incestuous. And it's ridiculous. And I'm sorry. Because it is as simple as that. Yeah. Like, board A gets together and goes, we need to make some more money. How are we going to make some more money? We need to sell some stuff. How could we do that? All right. That's no problem, gents. Let me just duck over to this board over here. Hey, let's talk about how good this thing is. Let's sell some more of it. Yeah? Okay, good. Oh, look at that. Next quarter, we're up, $400 million in our profits. Yeah. It's just insane. But it's insane.
It could be something as easy as all they do is from the top of the news to the end of the news, just dribbling in our heads that maybe we're lacking in vitamin D.
Yeah.
We're lacking in vitamin D. So it's my body, and I'm thinking, well, I feel great. I feel good. But the more and more I get being told that I'm lacking vitamin D, the more and more I'm going to be questioning, like, well, fuck, am I lacking vitamin D? It's like, well, I have been feeling kind of sluggish, and I have been feeling this. Yeah. And you know what? Yeah, you know what? I am, vitamin D is deficient in me. Yeah. And then they go in with the kill and they're like, you need this. Brought to you by Weber Vitamin D.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly what they do.
Instead of me just saying, okay, well, it's a sunny day out, I'm just going to take my ass outside. I'm going to go and I'm going to take that because they've essentially brainwashed me to think that I'm vitamin D deficient. Yeah. In the first place. Yeah. And then I also need their vitamin.
That's the only thing.
And their specific vitamin to put in my body. Yeah. So once again, they have used my brain to hijack my body to make a profit.
Yeah. And they definitely use that repetitive marketing strategy over and over and over and over again. And look, it's like that with medical stuff. It's like that with everything though. Like, whatever they want to sell you or whatever they want to do, they just keep going and going and going and going and going. And like, to be honest, like, even in the sense of, COVID and everything like that. And it's not just COVID, because you see the switch. And I don't know if people notice this, but from, let's say it was a Thursday, it was all COVID on everything. By Friday, it was all Ukraine.
Yeah.
Now, if COVID was so important and it was worthy of being on every news channel all day for 2 years, would it still not be valid?
Half a half. It would be
like
half
the next day, yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing. So, I mean, my theory on it is that they use all of these things as a big distraction and a big shift to the next thing. Now, the Ukrainian people, I feel bad for them. I really, really feel bad for them.
Yeah, my heart goes
Not
out.
so much the politicians, but the people. Like,
I don't know. I've heard good things about that politician that the I don't know, president or prime minister. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm ignorant when it comes to the politics over there, but I've heard good things about him. I've heard that he's not like a war president or war whomever.
He's not up for the wars. And
stuff. No, he's very much in a different camp. Okay. So I'm not too sure, but again, I'm not too sure. That could just be the image that they want to portray. Who knows?
Right.
But I just feel like they have used the poor Ukrainian population for a narrative change.
Yep, agree, and distraction from other things going on. Yeah. I mean, it's just. To me, whatever you hear on the news, I always just think, nope. Yeah. What else is going on? What else is happening in the background? what else is happening in plain sight that they're just not letting us see. But you're so right about that repetitive nature, and it just keeps happening over and over and over and over again. So what do we do? I guess we should finish on maybe talking about what can we do for ourselves to not necessarily stop what's happening with the media and pharmaceutical and all that, because we can't just do that. Otherwise, you and I would have done it yesterday.
Absolutely.
But what can we do? I think I guess the way I see it is just being awake and aware is a good start.
Be aware of what you're hearing multiple times a day. Like if you've heard it once,
right.
If you've heard it over and over and over again, ask yourself, why do I keep hearing this? And if someone is trying to tell you that you're sick, if someone is trying to tell you to put something in your body, if someone is trying to tell you not to do something, and even though it doesn't affect them whatsoever, think twice and say, why doesn't this person want me to do it? And it's usually the government or Karen down the street. She's usually involved somewhere.
Good old Kaz, she's always about somewhere.
She's always in there somewhere telling you that you're a horrible person because you don't do what she wants.
Yeah.
But just be aware that, I think it's just be aware that you can do what you want.
Right.
You don't have to put anything in your body you don't want to. It's my body, my choice. And when we say that, I fucking mean it, and I mean it in all sense of the word. My body, I choose what goes on with it, no matter what.
Yeah.
And everyone else can fuck off.
Yeah.
Because I'm not hurting anybody.
Yes. And that's the thing. Like, you could almost apply that theory and that method to everything. Like, doesn't matter what I'm doing.
Right.
Like, I could be throwing axes at something, the ground. I don't know, whatever. Like
something, not someone.
Right. But if I'm not hurting anybody, who cares?
Yeah, I don't care.
Who cares? Like, if I jump out of a plane without the parachute, in that
you'll
example,
get great healthcare.
You get fantastic healthcare. It's called a mob. But if I do that and I don't fall on anybody, I'm not hurting anybody.
No.
So I mean, we should have all of that control of our bodies. We just don't. And I mean, one last thing I wanted to mention on the COVID stuff and the control of everything and government's input, holy shit, is, well, as people can see, you are right here, right now.
Yes, I am. Yay!
But it wasn't so easy to make that happen.
It was not easy to get here.
Right. So
it's not just because it took me 36 hours.
Right.
That was actually the easiest part.
Yeah.
Was the travel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But getting the tick of approval to do so, not so easy. There was all kinds of circus acts involved, like hoop jumping and all of that.
I was Cirque du Soleil, baby.
You were. You're so skillful. Imagine if you weren't. You wouldn't even have got here. But like with all of those rings of fire and little miniature bicycles you rode and everything.
With the mini dog beside me.
Decided to get here.
Yeah.
How many things? Tell everybody how many documents out of the whole pile did they actually check when you got here? Okay.
So I came with a pile of documents like this, and they said, bring with you to Homeland Security. Bring it. You have to show it. Yeah. So I had my big binder of shit.
Zero. Not a one. No documents checked. So after all of that, it's like, just come on in. Yeah. It's fine.
Come on, love.
Yeah. So from the day before, let's just say.
Yeah, I was a lethal weapon.
It was Fortress Australia, nobody's allowed in. The whole world's going to implode if we let anybody into Australia. And then you go through all of that, get all your paperwork and everything. Basically, give them your first pet's, address and all that kind of stuff. And then you come here and you're like, hang on, I just walk in.
Yeah, that's it.
I just walk through. Where's the fortress?
Yeah.
It's so nonsensical.
Yeah.
So all that says to me, apart from like our own personal frustrations with it, but what that says to me is, was it really that important in the first place?
Well, that's just it. Because you said it perfectly. Like I was walking through because I was expecting to have to go through customs, like and have them check my bags and everything. I didn't even do that. She's like, yeah, just going through. I'm like through there? She's like, yeah. So I'm walking through. I'm like expecting like them to like come and get me and like rip apart my luggage.
Your legs or your luggage.
My luggage. My luggage. Yeah, but the sniffer dogs and everything. I was
Right.
expecting it because, this is coming in. And there you were. And I was just able to go.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
I'm here. This is it. Like, you didn't have to swim across a moat filled with sharks.
And I was about to let's go, start the car. They made a mistake.
I'm on my motorized luggage.
They made a mistake. Start the car.
Yeah, but I mean, and look, good, grateful that you didn't have to go through.
Thank you, Homeland.
All of that and run from dogs and things. But what it says is, was it really that important in the first place?
It wasn't.
Of course, it wasn't, because otherwise you would have had to go through all of that. It would have been important and everything like that. Yeah. And even, to be honest, just in the airport, because they're like, oh, it's super dangerous. Everybody wear a mask at the airport. It's dangerous. COVID can hide behind everything. In bins, around the corner, behind poles,
in your hair.
So I'm sitting there in the airport and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll have my mask on then. And I'm looking around and it's me and nobody else. So I'm like, well, screw this. I'm taking the mask off. So I took the mask off. And then a few airport people walk past, like people who work there, and I'm going, oh, are they going to come over and tell me to put this fucker on? And they walk past without their mask on. And I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah. What am I caring for?
Yeah.
So the thing is, nobody really cares. And I think we've said this so many times, but a lot of the people that I spoke to did not care about COVID for the health risk. They cared about it because they were restricted. So it was like people were keen to get the vaccine because they wanted to be free, and they thought that's what they would get, is freedom. So they were like, everybody get vaccinated. And you're like,
they're running.
Yeah,
running to get it.
Yeah. So it's like, and I would say to them, well, hang on a minute. What is it that you want to get the vaccine for?
Yes.
Is it because you're worried about your health, or is it because you just want to be free, and that's what they're saying you'll get if you get vaccinated? And it was always, I just want to be free.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned. I just want to be free.
I don't know one single person. No, I do know a few people who poo-pooed me when I first said I'm not getting it. I said, I'm not putting that shit in my body. Yeah. But then it turned out I needed to get it to travel. So I was like, well, here we go. Doing something I said I wouldn't do. Right. But they were really I am definitely out of, I'm off the Christmas card list because I never wanted to get it, and I still don't want to get it, but the cake's baked, it's in me now, so here we are. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people that I spoke to, they're like, yeah, I just want it so I can be free. And at first I thought, I didn't get that memo that we would get it and be free. But guess what? We still got it, and we were still locked down for a year.
Yes. So still locked down. Mm-hmm.
So, and the thing is, people were still saying, well, go, you need to go get vaccinated. It's like, well, you're not free.
Yeah.
What do you have that I don't? Yeah. Fucking nothing. So why would I do that?
Yeah, exactly. They would have had a whole lot more people actually voluntarily get vaccinated if they had have just said, okay, if you get vaccinated, you will be able to go back to your life as normal. Mm-hmm. Almost everybody probably would have, majority of people. But they didn't do that. They said, you must get vaccinated. Here's a nice little threat to go along with it if you don't. Mm-hmm. And do you know what? Nah, we're not going to let you be free. You stay at home as well. You'd be locked up just for another, 6-12 months. And we'll see how you go.
Your mental health's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
it's
mental
fine.
health. Oh, my God.
Now, I do have a question. If they paid people, if they said, because I know they were starting to do lotteries that if you got this, you were in a lottery for $50 million or something like that.
Yeah.
If they paid everybody, say $1,000 to get it, because they have the money, they print the money, they print it, they have it.
Of course,
it's unlimited. It's unlimited funds, and let's be honest, money's not real. We fucking made it up. So if they said to pay everyone $1,000, how fast do you think they would hit those targets that they wanted?
Very fast.
Because Hair Boy upstairs in Canada land, he still wants 100% vaccinated. He's never going to get it. I don't think Canada's ever going to be right ever again.
Yeah. Well, and that's okay. Since you mentioned Hair Boy, and the 100% vaccination, let's talk about some of the elites and the big pushers of the vaccination. I don't know, the pencil with glasses.
Oh, Bill Gates.
Yeah, Bill Gates. Oh, you know.
I've heard of him.
Okay,
I've seen him.
Well, he didn't get his children vaccinated.
Nope.
was dead against it, apparently, according to their family GP.
Yep.
Did not want his children vaccinated. Now, why is that?
For anything. They're not vaccinated for anything. Yeah.
But he's happy to get your kids vaccinated. He's happy to have the whole entire world vaccinated.
Yep.
But not his kids. So what does that tell you about one of the world's biggest advocates for vaccines? I mean, he's not a good guy, and we're definitely going to get into that in another podcast. Coming. Yeah. But, you know, if people often say, oh, well, you know, and I've had this said to me as well. Well, you're the one going against the grain. So clearly you're wrong. And it's like, well, no, just because I have a different thought and an actual thought around some of this, and I may not be 100% right on everything. We may not be 100% right on everything. Oh, no, I'm okay with being wrong. But I'm okay with being wrong. And I'm also very okay with saying to the richest person in the world, doesn't matter to me, most powerful person in the world, nah, this seems like bullshit to me.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of this.
I feel like you're making this up.
Yep.
So quite okay with that.
Yeah.
What I'm not okay with is just going, oh, wait a minute, what are we up to? Like 50, 100, 5,000, 5 million people believe this? Well, I guess I better believe it too.
I must. No. It's got to be true. It's got to be right.
Sorry, that's not how I roll.
No.
And I hope that's not how you guys roll out there. I hope you have all your thoughts to yourselves, you know, your own thoughts, and please share them with us. Like, is there something we haven't discussed here with bodily control and owning our own bodies, things like that? Another aspect maybe we missed. Yeah. Love to hear about it.
But I think that's a little insight into how our minds work. We went from, why can't I charge for sex? to this is where it went.
Yep, exactly. And, well, geez, does one have to wear a mask during sex?
God, I hope not.
Is that only if you're charging for it? Because the government's aware, and then you have to follow.
Oh, there's the guidelines. We should call them later and find out.
Right.
Could you imagine that phone call? We got a question.
Is that their latest thing for STIs too? You got to wear a mask downstairs.
Jesus Christ! Could you imagine?
It'd be interesting times, wouldn't it?
Oh boy, what has become of us?
I don't know, but at least we can still have a laugh.
That's right.
And that's what makes the world go round.
That's right. So that's it.
Yeah, great chat.
Great chat.
I hope everybody else enjoyed it. And as you can see, we're here together, which is so exciting. It's been a journey, hasn't it?
It has. Oh, many a hoop.
Yes, but thank you. We're here.
Yep.
Hope you're having a great day out there. And let us know what you think down in the comment section or on social media.
Take care, guys.
Bye.